The one choice Felipe hates: Princess Leonor of Spain. In October 2023, Princess Leonor of Spain stood in the Spanish parliament and swore loyalty to the constitution on her 18th birthday. The moment was formal, restrained, and carefully choreographed. Yet institutionally, it marked something far larger: the point at which Spain's future head of state became constitutionally visible, accountable, and bound to a path that offers remarkably little room for personal choice. What is often overlooked is that this path was not designed by Princess Leonor, and in many ways, it reflects a long-standing tension that even her father, King Felipe VI, has never fully embraced. By the end of this video, you'll understand the single structural decision at the heart of the Spanish monarchy that shapes Leonor's future, and why it remains the most uncomfortable inheritance of all. Spain's monarchy is not ancient in continuous form. It is a constitutional institution restored in 1975, following the death of General Francisco Franco. When Juan Carlos I assumed the throne, the monarchy was tasked with something unusual: not preserving royal power, but helping dismantle authoritarian rule. That legacy matters deeply. The Spanish crown does not exist as a symbol of personal authority, but as a stabilizing constitutional mechanism. From the beginning, its legitimacy has depended on restraint, neutrality, and predictability. This structure leaves very little flexibility for the individual who wears the crown. The monarch reigns but does not govern. Public expression is limited. Political opinion is prohibited. Personal preference is secondary to institutional continuity. King Felipe VI inherited this framework in 2014. Princess Leonor inherits it more rigidly still. And within that framework lies one decision that defines everything else. That decision is succession itself: automatic, irreversible, and unconditional. And its implications would only grow clearer as Leonor's preparation accelerated. Unlike many modern leadership roles, royal succession in Spain is not accepted, it is assigned. Princess Leonor became heir apparent at birth, not by declaration or choice, but by constitutional default. Spain's constitution establishes male preference primogeniture, meaning Leonor remains heir only as long as no brother is born. While this rule is widely criticized, it remains unchanged due to the complexity of constitutional reform. But even beyond gender rules, the deeper issue is permanence. There is no formal opt-out mechanism. Abdication exists, but refusal before accession does not. The expectation is continuity, not consent. King Felipe VI has spoken publicly about duty and service, but notably avoids romanticizing monarchy. His reign has emphasized professionalism over symbolism, responsibility over personal fulfillment. For Leonor, this means her future is shaped long before adulthood. Education, military training, public exposure, all structured around a role she did not seek. And this is where institutional necessity collides with modern values of autonomy. Attention: Felipe VI understands all too well. When Felipe VI became king, expectations were clear: modernize the monarchy, restore trust, and distance the institution from past controversies. His response was methodical rather than emotional. He reduced the royal family's public footprint, tightened transparency standards, and emphasized constitutional loyalty above personal identity. But there was one thing he did not change, because he could not. He did not alter the succession structure. Despite public support for reform, changing the line of succession would require constitutional amendments, national referendums, and parliamentary supermajorities. Any misstep could destabilize the monarchy itself. Felipe VI chose institutional preservation over personal preference. And in doing so, he passed forward the same constraint he inherited, binding his daughter to a role defined more by obligation than choice. This decision is not controversial in headlines, but it is profound in consequence. Especially when viewed through the lens of Leonor's education. Princess Leonor's education has followed a carefully calibrated path. From early schooling in Madrid to the UWC Atlantic College in Wales, her academic life reflects preparation for constitutional leadership rather than personal specialization. At UWC, she studied alongside students from around the world, emphasizing diplomacy, global awareness, and service. This choice was widely praised, but it was also strategic. The goal was not exploration. It was formation. Her curriculum emphasized languages, international relations, and ethical leadership, skills aligned with head of state responsibilities. Unlike political leaders who emerge through experience or ambition, Leonor's trajectory is preset. Each educational choice narrows rather than expands future options. This is the paradox of royal preparation. The more qualified the heir becomes, the fewer alternatives remain. And that paradox intensifies with military training. In 2023, Princess Leonor began military training, starting with the General Military Academy in Zaragoza. This was not symbolic. Under Spanish constitutional tradition, the monarch is commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Military education is not optional, it is foundational. Felipe VI himself underwent the same tri-service training. He has consistently emphasized the military's constitutional loyalty rather than political power. For Leonor, this training reinforces hierarchy, discipline, and institutional continuity. But it also highlights the absence of personal choice. Civilian alternatives are not considered. Artistic or academic deviation is irrelevant. The structure allows no detours. And this raises a quiet but persistent question: can an institution rooted in permanence adapt to a world that values individual agency? Felipe VI's reign suggests the answer is complicated. One of the most striking aspects of Princess Leonor's public life is what she does not do. She does not express political opinions. She does not engage in debate. She does not shape narratives. This silence is intentional. The Spanish monarch must remain neutral, above political division. Public speech is scripted, vetted, and constitutional. Felipe VI has reinforced this standard, particularly during moments of national tension. For Leonor, this means leadership without voice, authority without authorship. This is perhaps the most difficult inheritance of all. In modern democratic societies, leadership is often associated with expression. In monarchy, it is associated with restraint. And restraint, once institutionalized, is rarely optional. Across Europe, heirs face similar constraints, but with notable differences. In the Netherlands and Belgium, abdication is normalized. In Sweden, absolute primogeniture ensures clarity. In the UK, public visibility is broader, though still restricted. Spain stands apart in its fragility. The monarchy's legitimacy is more recent, more conditional, and more closely tied to constitutional stability. This makes deviation riskier. Felipe VI governs not just as a king, but as a custodian of democratic memory. For Leonor, this means fewer allowances for experimentation. And fewer opportunities to redefine the role she will one day assume. The one choice Felipe VI has never embraced is not personal, it is structural. The idea that succession could be optional. That a future monarch could consciously choose the role rather than inherit it. Such a shift would require redefining monarchy itself, from destiny to vocation. But Spain's constitutional framework does not permit this. Felipe VI has chosen stability over innovation. Not because he lacks vision, but because the risks outweigh the benefits. And that calculation shapes Leonor's future more than any speech or ceremony. Princess Leonor's public appearances are increasingly assured. Her speeches are confident. Her presence is composed. This reflects excellent preparation, but it also reflects a narrowing horizon. There is no parallel track. No contingency identity. No professional alternative. Her preparation assumes continuity, and continuity assumes acceptance. This is the quiet cost of hereditary leadership. Ultimately, the Spanish monarchy prioritizes the institution over the individual. Felipe VI has modeled this consistently. He has subordinated personal preference to constitutional role, visibility to discretion, and identity to duty. In doing so, he has strengthened the crown, but also reinforced its most inflexible feature. Princess Leonor inherits not just a throne, but a system designed to limit deviation. That design is intentional, and it is unlikely to change. As Leonor continues her preparation, the monarchy will emphasize competence, neutrality, and continuity. Public expectations will grow, but the underlying structure will remain unchanged. The one choice Felipe VI never altered, whether monarchy is something one chooses, will continue to define Spain's royal future. Not as a flaw, but as a constitutional reality. Princess Leonor's path illustrates a central truth about constitutional monarchy: leadership is not always about freedom, it is often about restraint. Her preparation reflects an institution that values stability above all else, even when that stability limits personal choice. In that sense, her future is less about becoming queen, and more about sustaining a system designed to endure beyond any individual. And perhaps that is the quiet lesson of Spain's monarchy: continuity is not effortless, and duty is rarely negotiable. Only 1 in 10 viewers here is subscribed. If you value thoughtful insights into royalty and leadership, join the community.